Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking on, well, what is maybe the most chaotic, conflicting, and emotionally charged landscape in modern life, the diet circus.
It really is a circus. And it's a bewildering one. I mean, when you, the learner, decide you want to make a change, you open your phone or you walk into a bookstore and you're immediately paralyzed.
Totally paralyzed. And our source material today, the ultimate diet guide, 100 proven diets for rapid weight loss by a group they call the Diet Docs. It acknowledges that feeling right from the jump.
Oh, they do. They understand it. The source material today is really the starting point we think everyone needs.
They absolutely nail the introduction, don't they? They describe that feeling of scrolling through endless options at 2 a.m. and you're faced with, something like 47,382 different books, and every single one promises to be the answer.
And they're all contradictory. One says carbs are the devil.
Another one says fat is Satan's cousin. It's analysis paralysis wrapped in conflicting science, and it's all topped with this pervasive feeling of, nutritional shame.
Which is why this book, this guide, is such a powerful antidote to that feeling.
It really is.
And what's so essential about their approach is how they immediately pivot away from prescriptive dogma.
Right.
I mean, the authors aren't selling some patented miracle cure. They're just providing a map of the territory.
Right.
Their mission statement is almost revolutionary because they get the emotional toll of all this chaos. They call themselves slightly caffeinated nutrition nerds who believe that finding the right way to eat should be empowering, not soul-crushing.
I love that. And okay, let's unpack this core mission because it's so important. They state very clearly that the goal of this guide is not to declare one single approach as the best.
No.
It's about equipping you to find your diet. The one that, instead of making you miserable, it actually fits your lifestyle, gives you sustainable energy, and, this is crucial, allows you to still enjoy birthday cake without a debilitating side of guilt.
And that right there, that fundamentally redefines success. You're not measuring your success by how strictly you stick to some external rules. You're measuring it by your own internal well-being. And that's why the possible outcomes are so vast, because the path is tailored to you, the individual. You might find out you thrive as a sophisticated Mediterranean eater.
A Mediterranean goddess, as they say.
Or you could become an intermittent fasting warrior, or maybe a precise nutritional accountant with the zone diet.
And this might be the most important insight the book offers right at the very beginning. The best outcome for you might be realizing the best approach is to stop dieting altogether and just eat like a normal human being.
That's the ultimate permission slip.
It is. This epic tome, as they call it, becomes the essential starting point for anyone feeling lost. It's like a nutritional anthropologist's guide. It shows you everything that exists so you can choose wisely based on data about yourself, not just blindly following hype.
And to manage all this information, this huge amount of data, they lay down 4 foundational rules for you, the learner. These rules, they act as this crucial, non-negotiable framework for how to interpret the 100 different philosophies inside.
Okay, the first one is the emotional shield we all need. No diet shaming. Every approach works for someone, somewhere. They use this perfect, relatable example.
What's the line?
Just because keto makes you feel like a zombie doesn't mean it's evil. You're just not a zombie person.
I love that. That one statement, it validates all your past experiences, and it just gives you immediate permission to move on without all that corrosive baggage of guilt. It frames failure not as some moral flaw, but as a data point.
Exactly, a data point. Rule number 2 is about intellectual rigor. Science first, hype never.
Right.
The Diet Docs promise they are giving you the real deal based on published, peer-reviewed research, not, fleeting Instagram testimonials or some unverified anecdote.
And that commitment to evidence, even when they're describing something like the cabbage soup diet, that's what elevates the book from just a catalog to a true guide. They give you the science around the diet, not just the marketing of the diet.
Then we get to the core of personal agency. Your body, your rules. The book's philosophy is strictly informational. The authors really emphasize this. We're providing information. You're making decisions. You're the CEO of your own body. You are the ultimate authority. You're the one collecting the data and making the executive decisions based on how you feel.
Instead of just slavishly following some outdated plan that doesn't work for you.
Exactly. And finally, a rule that is so often forgotten in this, restrictive, guilt-ridden world of nutrition: fun is mandatory.
Fun is mandatory. If you're not enjoying the journey, at least a little bit. If it's making you miserable or socially isolated, you were doing it wrong.
We're doing it wrong. Their goal isn't just weight loss. It's to help you decode this world of nutrition and maybe most importantly, to help you fall in love with food again.
And that speaks volumes about the holistic approach they ultimately endorse.
It really does. That framework, guilt-free, science-based, self-directed, and joyful, that's our compass as we plunge into this beautiful, chaotic world, starting with the very unique philosophy behind this massive project.
So let's dig into the sheer audacity of this. I mean, why write 100 diets?
Right. Most diet books, they cherry-pick the top 5, make it simple, and call it a day. But the author's unique promise here, which is what makes this book so indispensable for the serious learner, is that they give us everything.
This commitment to abundance, it's truly fascinating from a knowledge acquisition perspective. They present the good, the bad, the scientifically questionable, and the downright weird.
And they present them all with the same objective analysis.
Exactly. And this comprehensive approach, by showing multiple, sometimes conflicting perspectives, it inherently encourages critical thinking in you, the reader.
It's the difference between being told what to think and being given the tools to think critically. I mean, if you only read the book on the ketogenic diet, you walk away thinking carbs are the enemy.
Of course. Yeah.
But if you read the entry on the Mediterranean diet right next to it, you realize, oh wait, carbohydrates, especially whole grains and complex starches, they can be a wonderful, healthy staple. The comparison itself is the lesson.
Precisely. They are committed to being honest, even if the information is difficult or controversial. It's like having that friend who, as they put it, tells you the truth about your haircut. We love you enough to be honest.
Right. They're just laying out the full spectrum of options, even the ones that have historically been proven dangerous or ineffective.
Okay, but I do have to challenge that a little bit. If the mission is truly about finding the best diet for an individual, why spend time documenting practices that are, fundamentally unsafe, like the cotton ball diet or the breatharian diet? Doesn't that risk sensationalism?
That's a critical point, and the authors, they actually address this head on. They argue that including these extremes, what they call dangerous delusions, is crucial for 2 big reasons.
Okay.
First, historical context. They show the desperation and the extremes that diet culture has driven people to. And second, and this is maybe more vital for the modern learner, they act as these huge warning signs in the landscape of quick fixes.
So by documenting why something is dangerous, they're arming you.
Exactly. By showing you the scientific reality, they equip you to synthesize information and spot red flags anywhere else. It's a defensive measure. It reinforces that science first, hype never rule.
I see. So it's about building a comprehensive nutritional literacy. They classify and detail these approaches so you, the reader, are taught how to evaluate a diet based on its scientific grounding, not just its, charismatic marketing.
Right. And speaking of the landscape, the book takes us on this really structured journey from the very best, the life-changing, all the way to the, the utterly bizarre.
And that structure itself is so telling. I mean, the table of contents is a revelation. It runs from diet number 1, the Mediterranean diet, which embodies longevity and balance, all the way to diet number 100, mindful eating, which is all about psychological health and internal cues.
And nestled in between, you see the full range. You've got structured systems like the zone diet, that's number 21, with its precision macro blocks. You've got ancestral approaches like the Paleo diet at number 4.
And then the specialized targeted systems like the DAH diet, which is diet number 7, designed for really specific health outcomes. It just provides the full context. It lets us compare the complexity of something like the zone diet against the sheer simplicity of a mono diet.
And that comparison, laid out so objectively, helps you define your personal tolerance for restriction and for complication.
It's all about finding your fit.
So let's transition now and look at the categories the book explores in detail. We'll start with the rock stars.
Okay.
The science-backed sustainable pillars, approaches that score high on both effectiveness and longevity.
Okay, so when we talk about finding your sustainable diet, this guide puts one approach at the very top for a very good reason. The Mediterranean diet. Diet number 1. They call it the ultimate foundation, a lifestyle of food freedom.
And this placement is completely supported by decades of epidemiological data. What's so fascinating is how the authors frame it. It's not a dietary restriction, it's a cultural celebration.
Right. It's imagined as a permanent vacation in Greece, complete with high-quality olive oil flowing like water and food that encourages community.
And that mindset shift, focusing on what you gain, like flavor, health, longevity, instead of what you lose, That's half the battle right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The good stuff they list is so compelling. It's consistently ranked as the most heart-healthy diet. It significantly reduces cardiovascular risks. It sharpens your brain.
Yeah, they talk about the high-quality fats like extra virgin olive oil, which they call liquid magic. It's rich in those monounsaturated fatty acids and antioxidants that support brain health.
And it's sustainable for life. And of course, the book notes the critical social point. Wine is encouraged in moderation with meals.
Always a selling point.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the why of its success, it really comes down to calorie density and nutrient profile. The core components are high in fiber, water, and antioxidants.
So we're talking fresh fish, rich in omega-3s, colorful vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains.
And a minimal approach to red meat, processed foods, and refined sugars. You're maximizing nutrient density while minimizing the empty calories and pro-inflammatory stuff you find in ultra-processed foods. It's truly food your great-grandmother would recognize.
It is. But the guide, it maintains its objectivity. It addresses the not-so-good stuff, too. And the first caution is patience. Weight loss on this plan might be, and I'm quoting here, slower than a sloth on vacation.
Huh. Well, it's because it's not an extreme restriction plan.
Yeah.
Your body adjusts gradually.
Right. And the second caveat is a practical one. Requires actual cooking skills. Sorry, microwave warriors.
That's a big one. It demands a real lifestyle change. You have to move toward the kitchen, toward sourcing quality ingredients, and away from convenience food. For you, the learner, this is a vital checkpoint. If you aren't willing to shop and prepare meals regularly, the Mediterranean approach, as scientifically superior as it is, just won't be your diet.
Okay, moving on to another scientific powerhouse. We've got the Daesh diet. Fact number 7, Daesh stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. Now, that name sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry.
It really does, but the authors highlight that it accidentally became one of the healthiest, most evidence-backed ways to eat on the entire planet.
So why? Why did doctors design a diet for high blood pressure that ended up ranking so high for general health?
Well, hypertension is just chronically high blood pressure, right? It's a major risk factor for strokes and heart disease. The Daesh diet lowers blood pressure mainly by regulating electrolytes, specifically by maximizing potassium, calcium, and magnesium, while drastically limiting sodium.
So it's not just about cutting salt, it's about balancing all the minerals that help relax your blood vessels and manage fluid levels.
Exactly. And the science is overwhelming. It emphasizes whole, nutrient-dense foods, huge quantities of fruits and vegetables, like 8 to 10 servings a day. Whole grains, lean proteins, and low-fat dairy. And strictly limits sodium, usually to between 1,500 and 2,300 milligrams daily, along with red meat and processed sweets. It's engineered wellness.
So the Daesh approach seems perfect for someone with a long-term health focus, who appreciates balanced, moderate eating that doesn't just eliminate entire food groups.
It's doctor-approved and data-driven eating. But just like the Mediterranean diet, there are drawbacks. The weight loss is gradual because it focuses on health markers, not a rapid drop on the scale. And the authors warn it can be bland if you don't spice it up.
Because salt is a major flavor driver. When you restrict that, you have to bring the flavor with herbs, spices, and other seasonings.
Which leads us to the heart health extremes. The Ornish diet, which is number 22, and the Pritikin diet, number 23. These are so crucial because they illustrate the level of restriction needed when diet becomes a therapeutic, life-saving intervention. They show the absolute limit of what's sustainable for some people.
The Ornish diet is the reverse heart disease revolution. It requires a diet that gets less than 10% of total calories from fat, which makes it almost entirely plant-based.
And Dr. Dean Ornish proved this approach could not just prevent, would actually reverse established coronary artery disease. It could open blocked arteries without surgery. That is an incredible therapeutic outcome.
It is. And the Pritikin diet is similar. It's focused on ultra-low-fat eating combined with a mandatory daily exercise component.
What stands out here is that necessary trade-off between how effective it is therapeutically and how hard it is to stick within your lifestyle. To reverse disease, you have to be extremely strict.
We're talking zero tolerance for common dietary staples. These diets require avoiding virtually all animal products, except maybe some non-fat dairy in some versions, and all added oils.
And this is a critical insight for you, the learner. While the good stuff reversing cardiovascular damage is incredible, the restriction is immense. These are extremely low-fat diets that can leave you hungry or unsatisfied if you're not highly motivated.
Which makes them profoundly challenging to maintain if you don't have that severe medical motivation.
Right. It demonstrates that the best science for an acute condition doesn't always equal the best lifestyle fit for general wellness. It teaches you to evaluate the cost of restriction versus the required therapeutic outcome.
Okay, so if the sustainable pillars appeal to the health cook, let's explore the structured systems. These are the approaches that appeal to the accountant in all of us, the precision planners who crave clear, quantifiable rules and rapid initial results. We can start with intermittent fasting, or IF, which is diet number 2. They call this one the relationship reset.
Intermittent fasting is a system that simplifies food by dictating when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. It's all about cycling between periods of eating and fasting, which gives your digestive system a prolonged regular break.
And the source highlights the popular methods, like the common 16.8 protocol. So you fast for 16 hours and eat all your calories within an 8-hour window.
Then you have the more intense schedules, like the 5.2 method eating normally 5 days a week, and then restricting calories to 500, 600 on the other two, or even OMAD, 1 meal a day, which is definitely for the truly committed.
So what's the proposed scientific mechanism here? It's more than just cutting calories, right?
Yeah, beyond simple calorie reduction, the authors talk a lot about metabolic flexibility. By extending that fasting window, your body is forced to deplete its glycogen stores and switch over to burning stored body fat for energy. That's a crucial skill for metabolic health.
And extended fasting is also linked to improved insulin sensitivity and autophagy, right?
Exactly. Autophagy, the body's self-cleaning mechanism where it cleans out damaged cells to regenerate newer, healthier ones. The pros are really compelling for busy people because it simplifies meal planning. Fewer eating decisions means less stress, less cognitive load.
And a lot of users report improved mental clarity during the fasted state, and the big selling point for compliance is the flexibility in food choices during those eating windows.
But, like any structured system, there are trade-offs. The cons are immediate and physical. You get those initial hunger pangs where your stomach might throw a tantrum as it adjusts to the new schedule.
It's also socially tricky. Declining lunch invitations or trying to explain why you can't eat until 2 p.m., that requires some planning.
And maybe the most significant danger is the risk of nutrient deficiency or even overeating during the eating window if you're not prioritizing food quality. It's a structure that suits busy bees who love simplicity, but it demands strong willpower, at least initially.
Okay, now we jump into the low-carb revolution with the ketogenic diet, keto diet number 3, and the Atkins diet, diet number 8. Keto is this upside-down world where fat intake is prioritized and carbs are almost completely removed.
The authors describe keto as the place where, and I love this quote, bacon is health food and bread is basically poison.
And this drastic change in macronutrient balance is what separates it from just a standard high-protein diet.
The mechanism is specific and demanding. Keto requires slashing your net carbs, usually under 50 grams a day, often under 20 grams. This forces the body into a state called ketosis.
So let's define that for the learner. Normally, your body runs on glucose from carbs.
Right. And when glucose is severely restricted, the body signals the liver to break down fat into molecules called ketones, and those become the primary fuel source for your brain and body.
So the body literally becomes a fat-burning machine using its own stored fat directly.
Precisely. And the appeal is huge because the good stuff includes rapid initial weight loss, which is largely water loss from depleted glycogen stores. Users report decreased appetite, supernatural mental clarity once they adapt.
Ketones are a very efficient fuel for the brain.
They are. And you get stable blood sugar.
Yeah.
And yes, you get to eat bacon and other satisfying high-fat foods.
But the costs are serious, and the book is unflinchingly honest about them. The infamous keto flu hits like a truck initially.
Oh, it does. Fatigue, headaches, nausea as your body transitions fuel sources.
Social dining becomes an Olympic sport because nearly every common restaurant item has hidden carbs. And you have to deal with the inevitable keto breath is real and unfortunate.
Caused by the excretion of ketone bodies, specifically acetone, through your breath, it demands a complete lifestyle overhaul and mandatory, disciplined meal prep.
So if we connect this to the Atkins diet, Atkins is presented as the OG low-carb granddaddy. Dr. Atkins essentially flipped the food pyramid long before keto was fashionable.
Right. He prioritized protein and fat over carbohydrates. It operates on 4 distinct phases, starting with extreme restriction like 20 grams of carbs, and then gradually reintroducing them.
And that phased approach is the major difference from keto, which is a continuous state. The structure of Atkins, that clear roadmap for reintroduction, is the big draw for rule followers who thrive on structure.
Because it promises a path back to a slightly more moderate carb intake once you've achieved your goal weight. Both are excellent for rapid initial loss and immediate blood sugar control, but their sustainability hinges entirely on your long-term relationship with carbohydrate restriction.
Okay, finally, let's analyze the zone diet, number 21, which takes structure to a whole different level. This is the 40-30-30 precision plan, where the authors humorously call you a nutritional accountant.
This sounds so intense and demanding. What's the fundamental mechanism the zone diet is trying to achieve with all this precision?
It's all about hormonal balance. The creator, Dr. Barry Sears, he theorized that these precise macronutrient ratios, 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat at every single meal and snack, are necessary to keep the body's hormonal ecosystem stable.
Specifically balancing insulin and glucagon throughout the day.
Exactly. And this stabilization is supposed to reduce cellular inflammation, which is tied to everything from weight gain to chronic disease.
So it's not just a calorie counting game, it's a hormonal calculation. They use blocks of food to ensure this balance is met.
Right. And the benefit is that scientifically balanced approach and the theoretical reduction in systemic inflammation. But the caveat for you, the learner, is crystal clear. It requires constant calculation and measuring, often down to weighing almonds or tracking ounces of chicken.
Which makes it overly complicated for many. And this provides you with such an excellent, albeit demanding, example of structure versus usability. The book forces you to ask yourself, do you want to be a nutritional accountant who weighs their portions, or do you prefer the relaxed, qualitative guidelines of the Mediterranean diet?
This book promises to show us the good, the bad, and the weird, and we have to commend the authors. They really deliver on the wait what factor. So let's dive into what we're calling the wild side of the diet circus, where the mechanisms for weight loss are often purely psychological or achieved through extreme deprivation and monotony.
Yeah, we're moving into approaches that succeed, if they succeed at all, mainly by making food so unappealing that you just can't possibly consume enough calories to maintain your weight. It's a psychological barrier to eating, not a metabolic optimization.
Like the cabbage soup diet, diet number 27.
Ah, the classic desperation move.
It is. The cabbage soup diet promises rapid weight loss in a week because the main ingredients are cabbage, onions, tomatoes, peppers, celery, and seasonings. That's it for 7 straight days.
The book is very clear on the mechanics and the results. It's simple, extremely low calorie, and the rapid initial weight loss is a genuine feature. But the scientific analysis is harsh.
The weight loss is mostly water, right?
Mostly water, associated with glycogen depletion and the high diuretic effect of the soup itself. Crucially, it is not sustainable or nutritionally complete. You're basically trading your sanity, your social life, and your nutritional diversity for 7 days of boredom and temporary water weight reduction.
And the risk of regaining the weight quickly, that bounce back effect, is extremely high.
Then you have the mono diet, number 41, which involves eating only a single whole food, potatoes, bananas, apples, or even ice cream, depending on the ridiculous variation for a set period.
The rationale here, often claimed by proponents, is simplification and breaking food addictions. But the cons list in the book reads like a nutritional hazard report.
Grossly nutritionally incomplete, extremely boring, and fundamentally inadequate for long-term health. Your body needs a spectrum of micronutrients that a single food just cannot provide. It's an unsustainable purity quest.
And we can't forget the high-protein, low-calorie diets, like the grapefruit and egg diet, which is number 44. This one forces low-calorie intake by starting every meal with half a grapefruit and then focusing the rest of the day on eggs and limited vegetables.
The high protein content gives you some satiety, which helps manage hunger on extremely low calories. But the critical warning highlighted in the source material is the potential for grapefruit to interact with certain medications.
Right, specifically statins and certain blood pressure medications. It interferes with enzyme pathways in the liver.
Which makes it a medically risky proposition for many people and reinforces why you have to read the book's detailed warnings.
Okay, for the busy, overwhelmed person, convenience often trumps nutritional finesse, which brings us to meal replacement programs. We've got Slim Fast, number 34, and Nutrisystem, number 36.
The appeal of convenience is undeniable for someone who is time-poor and needs automatic portion control. Slim Fast, where you replace 2 meals with prepackaged shakes and eat 1 sensible dinner, offers automatic portion control and is generally nutritionally fortified.
And Nutrisystem delivers prepackaged, shelf-stable, balanced meals right to your door. Ultimate convenience, zero food decisions.
But the critical note the book makes cuts right to the heart of sustainability. These systems are great for short-term calorie management, but they don't teach real food cooking skills.
Or foster a healthy, intuitive relationship with food preparation.
Exactly. They solve the immediate problem of portion control, but they fail to equip you with the skills you need to thrive once you stop buying the products. And the reliance on processed, prepackaged food can also be unsatisfying and hard to maintain long-term.
And finally, we have to address the absolutely not list. This is why the book's commitment to comprehensive honesty is so important. The diet docs included these entries for completeness, but mainly as a stark warning.
Yes, the gravity of these dangerous and delusional practices must be emphasized. They really highlight the desperation that restrictive diet culture can drive people to.
Let's start with the pseudoscientific nonsense. The breatharian diet, number 48. It claims you can survive on air and sunlight alone, that you can live without physical sustenance.
And the authors state plainly, this is not scientifically possible.
They categorize it as a dangerous delusion that has led to documented fatalities globally. It just reinforces that when a system claims to defy basic human biology, the need for calories, water, and essential nutrients, it has to be treated as a severe medical hazard.
Then you have the physical dangers. The cotton ball diet, number 46, which involves consuming cotton balls, sometimes dipped in juice, to feel artificially full.
The authors warn in the strongest possible terms that this is a dangerous practice that can cause serious medical complications. Consuming non-digestible fibrous material can lead to bizarres.
Solid masses trapped in your digestive tract.
Right, causing intestinal obstruction, severe trauma, and death. It's a desperate act of starvation that carries profound physical risk.
Finally, the tapeworm diet, number 47. A historical horror approach involving intentional parasitic infection to absorb nutrients and cause weight loss. It is dangerous, illegal, and can be fatal due to complications from the infection itself.
And the diet docs include a forceful reality check for these entries, urging you, the reader, to prioritize health, seek professional help if disordered eating is present, and never, ever sacrifice fundamental safety for rapid weight loss.
And this comprehensive inclusion, even of the horrors, it just reinforces the core value of the book. Understanding the whole landscape, even the dangerous edges, is essential to staying safe on your self-discovery journey.
After running through 98 types of restriction, structured systems, nutritional accounting, and outright madness, the guide shifts focus dramatically for the final two diets. This is where the authors bring us to the ultimate conclusion. The best diet is not found in external rules, but in internal wisdom.
This shift toward the psychological and holistic approaches is the true knowledge transfer the book wants you to reach. The whole process is about decoupling eating from guilt and reconnecting with your natural bodily signals. And we start with intuitive eating, diet number 99, which is the trust your body philosophy.
This philosophy, it's about rejecting diet culture completely and learning to trust your body's inherent hunger and fullness cues. It's about cultivating what they call making peace with food.
Recognizing your body is a dynamic system that needs care and respect, and that it is ultimately smarter than any one-size-fits-all diet book.
The key practice in intuitive eating is really twofold. First, giving yourself unconditional permission to eat all foods. So you remove the moral judgment of good and bad foods.
Which paradoxically often reduces the urge to binge on those formerly forbidden items.
Exactly. And second, learning to distinguish between emotional hunger eating from stress or boredom and genuine physical hunger. This requires deep listening to your inner wisdom. It's a complete 180-degree turn from the rigid calculation of the zone diet or the extreme elimination of keto.
And the ultimate goal is cultivating body respect. It's a hard journey because you have to undo decades of diet messaging. But the payoff is freedom. It means honoring your health with gentle nutrition, focusing on what makes you feel energized and, well, not on restriction.
And hand in hand with intuitive eating is mindful eating, diet number 100. This is the act of bringing full, non-judgmental attention to the eating experience itself.
Mindful eating is all about slowing down the act of consumption. Sitting down, eating without distractions, no phones, no TV, and paying full attention to the texture, the taste, the smell, and the physical feeling of fullness.
And the benefits are tremendous and often overlooked in the rush for rapid results. When you slow down, you increase meal satisfaction, which helps you feel satisfied with smaller portions.
It improves digestion, too, because you're fully present and allowing your body to prepare for the intake of nutrients. The authors note that slowing down enhances satisfaction, which naturally leads to better portion control. It's often described as meditation, but a very delicious form of it.
It's so important that the book emphasizes that health is about much more than just food. The comprehensive workout section included in the guide reinforces this holistic view. You can't have a comprehensive diet guide without discussing how the body uses that fuel.
And they make sure every physical activity level is covered, from the absolute beginner focused on foundation building, using simple bodyweight movements like squats and wall push-ups, to the intermediate 3-day split and the advanced 4-day upper-lower split.
And they also include targeted plans. A weight loss plan focused on HIIT circuits and metabolic madness, and a muscle building plan focused on the popular push-pull leg split. The breadth of it ensures that no matter where you're starting, you have an immediate, actionable movement plan.
And for a touch of fun and perspective, they include diet number 38, the Richard Simmons strategy. It's a humorous but profound reminder. It's less about restriction and more about reasonable eating with fun, energetic exercise.
Prioritizing joyful movement over painful obligation. The mantra, "You can do it, sweetie," is a powerful psychological tool against the self-criticism that often comes with dieting.
Ultimately, the diet docs synthesize all 100 approaches into the real MVP's most valuable principles for you. The key conclusion, based on what makes any diet effective short-term, is that they all create a calorie deficit. Therefore, the best diet is simply one that is sustainable, enjoyable, fits your life, and can be maintained for years, not weeks.
And they distill this hard-won wisdom derived from the successes and failures of 100 different regimes down into 4 timeless truths. The first is, eat mostly whole foods, the ones recognizable to your great-grandmother that don't have ingredient lists longer than a CVS receipt.
Second, listen to your body. It has been keeping you alive this whole time, making your heart beat and regulating your temperature without you even thinking about it. It knows when it's hungry and full. The trick is learning to trust those signals again.
Third, remember that food is culture, celebration, and comfort, not just fuel. Depriving yourself of the joy and social connection food provides is just a recipe for unsustainable failure. Life's too short to feel guilty over every single treat.
And finally, the most powerful takeaway of all. Your body is smarter than any diet book. Even this one, they note, because external rules must always bend to your internal reality.
The ultimate value of this book isn't just the information, the 100 detailed entries, it's the explicit instructions on how to take action and prevent falling back into that cycle of information overload. This guide doesn't end with a conclusion. It ends with a practical, step-by-step plan for you, the learner, to find your food soulmate.
And this section is the practical application of the vast knowledge we've just reviewed. The authors insist on specific steps for moving forward to ensure you transition from just a consumer of information to an active participant in your own wellness.
The first step is crucial for combating analysis paralysis. Pick one approach that excites you, not 3. Not some Frankenstein's monster mix of the most restrictive parts of 5 different plans. Just one.
This combats that common mistake of overcomplicating the starting process and setting yourself up for guaranteed failure.
Secondly, they emphasize a low-pressure trial period. Try it for 2-4 weeks. The authors frame this perfectly. This is dating, not marriage.
I love that. Give the diet a real focused effort, but understand you don't need a lifetime commitment right away. This short trial period is designed to help you gather objective data about what works for your specific body, your energy levels, and your social tolerance.
And this data gathering leads to the most important metric, step 3. Pay attention to how you feel, not just what the scale says. This is the radical part. Are you energized? Is your mood stable? Are you sleeping better?
And crucially, are you able to function in social situations without being that person who interrogates the waiter about ingredients and ruins the fun?
Yes. If a diet ruins your ability to socialize or diminishes your energy, it is fundamentally not your diet, regardless of what the scale claims.
And this is where you leverage the data you collected from the trial. And finally, adjust as needed. If you find that the general philosophy of the Mediterranean diet, combined with the timing structure of intermittent fasting, works for you, you have earned the right to make that executive decision.
The key is remembering that perfect adherence is the enemy of good enough. A good diet you can stick to 80% of the time beats a perfect diet you abandon after 2 weeks.
Absolutely. And this book provides the ultimate permission slip for self-compassion. It gives you permission to reject guilt about food choices, to stop comparing your eating habits to anyone else's, and crucially, to stop believing that your worth is determined by your weight or your clothing size.
The commitment the book encourages is not to a set of rules, but to a relationship with yourself. It's a commitment to nourish your body, to enjoy food as one of life's great pleasures, to be flexible and kind to yourself.
And to make choices based on how you feel internally, not what external sources dictate. Health, the book concludes, is about so much more than just food. It's about mental well-being, movement, and community.
And that leads us to the ultimate success metric the diet docs offer, which is the final piece of wisdom. Success isn't fitting into your high school jeans. It isn't looking like the airbrushed fitness models who have personal chefs and great lighting.
No. Success is redefined in practical, liberating terms. It is feeling confident in your own skin, having energy for the things you love, and not having to calculate macros or food morality every waking moment.
It's going to dinner with friends without anxiety. It's teaching children and future generations that food is nourishment and joy, not stress and restriction.
And this deep dive into the chaotic world of 100 different diets reveals that the journey is less about finding a specific rule book and more about self-discovery and internal calibration, which is why starting with this ultimate honest guide is so crucial. It's the map you need to navigate the madness.
The ultimate discovery of this entire journey, after analyzing the vast, chaotic landscape of the diet circus, is that the answer was inside you all along. Your body is smarter than any diet book. The call to action is simple. Stop reading about food and go enjoy some.
That is the perfect way to wrap up this analysis. Thank your body for keeping you alive and functioning while you absorbed all this information. Perhaps treat it to some good food and gentle movement today.